What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? And welcome to the Late Round Fantasy Football Show. This is week 3 of the show, and you better know your backup quarterbacks this week. That's all I'm going to say. People are panicking, and we just need the voice of JJ to calm us down. So stick around. It's the Late Round Fantasy Football Show, sponsored by DraftKings. All right, welcome in. JJ, how's it going?
It's good. I was just jamming to the intro. Honestly, like top 3 intro in the game, I think.
The intro's fire. Everybody loves the intro too.
People hate the Late Round Fantasy Football Podcast intro that's been around for, 8 years. As long as the podcast has been around. And I think there would be no controversy for the Late Round Fantasy Football Show in that intro that we just
Well, we want to just welcome everybody in. Say, hey, hang out with us. If you're hanging out with us live, great. If not, leave a comment. Let us know your thoughts on whatever we're talking about today. We've got today's news. We've got today's data. We've got the main event. JJ is going to give another bold call. Last week, no victory laps here, but last week, JJ, I do want to say that you said 2 touchdowns for Mark Andrews. So,
yeah, big L.
Yeah,
big L. I mean, turns out he is dust. But look, he started really slow last year, and again, we talked about this how like everyone like pointed to that car accident that he was in, and that was like the reason why he was starting slow. But maybe it's just like his body getting ramped up, and then he'll eventually just score a ton of touchdowns like he did last year. We'll see.
Yeah.
I fortunately wasn't really high or low on him entering the year, so it's just kind of whatever to me.
And I know you're going to want me to say it, and yes, you did. Your other bold prediction was a Detroit Lions 40 burger.
I got that wrong too because they had a 50 burger.
They had 50. Yeah. So just try harder, I guess, is what we're trying to say. JJ, I want to say thanks to our sponsor, DraftKings, for sponsoring the show, for sponsoring the whole best ball season. You can scan the QR code and get the free $5 ticket in there if you're new, and we appreciate you, DK. And JJ, as far as like this week goes, it just seems like I don't know, maybe this week, maybe this year, because I'm more in tune with the season-long fantasy football, but week 3 is like serious panic mode. I saw at least like 20 memes about 0-2 fantasy football teams this year.
There's a lot of panicking. I think that there's just more and more panicking as the years go on because people like to get upset about more and more things as the years go on. And there's more opportunity to get upset about things and to panic about things and to not just be level-headed, zened out a little bit. It's not the end of the world. You're going to be okay. There's a lot of ways to make your fantasy football team better, and that's what I'm here for.
Okay. All right. If people are 0-2, just know it's going to get better. My teams are like most of my teams like 1-1.
I don't have a single 0-2 team right now.
Hey, that's good.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good.
A lot of 0-2 teams out there have like Rashee Rice on the squad.
Yeah.
Maybe a little Chris Godwin, but people are panicking. We're here to help you get through that. And with that being said, JJ, let's get on to today's news.
Today's fantasy news.
All right. Egbuka is the first one. Emeka Egbuka, he's back at practice, JJ.
Yes, thank goodness, right? That's my reaction to that with one S. You know what? I'm not even going to fix that typo. I hit enter before the second S. It's just thank goodness.
Yeah.
Right now. I mean, look, I've seen a lot of takes with Egbuka as a sell candidate, and Andy Behrens actually brought it up on yesterday's Perspectives episode. I do think that it's a reasonable take to just see what you could fetch for Egbuka. My hesitation in doing it is that I think he's very, very good. You know what? I got to fix this S. I got to add the S to goodness. It's driving me nuts. But the thing with Igbokwe, I know that his peripherals like aren't amazing. It's like 19%ish target share or whatever, like around that mark. And, he's very clearly the number 2 to Mike Evans, and Chris Godwin's coming back and all of that. I just don't think we should lose sight of the fact that he's a rookie doing this. Like these are the first 2 games of his NFL career where he's doing this. And for some reason, it sometimes feels like we lose sight of that kind of thing. And we lose sight of that, like, same deal with a lot of the rookie running backs, whether good or bad, or a lot of these like reactions that are going on with these players. It's like, guys, it's been 2 games. And if they're showing out and showing up already, which is why, after week 1, I saw the peripherals with Alec Manor, and I'm like, okay, like go get him off the waiver wire now before the production matches. And then the production matched a little bit last week, and now it's difficult to get Alec Manor, right? When we see it happen with a rookie, we should be pouncing. And I think that's why I'm not fully on board with the sell, just because I think he's a really good player. I get it though. I'm more neutral. Like, I don't think that it's like an obvious buy or sell situation, but I just can't be all in on sell.
Yeah. No sun running there. All right. Jaden Daniels, question mark, exclamation point was the next one. This was written about an hour, I guess, before the actual news came in. Jaden Daniels not going to play this week, and it's Marcus Mariota time.
Yeah, I think he's a really good streamer. I'll talk about him later on the show, so I don't want to get too into it. But I think Mariota, like right now in my rankings, I had him as a top 15 quarterback. I think that he's in a similar tier as like a Michael Penix this week. I actually have him ahead of Penix. I'd have a hard time probably playing him over a Jared Goff type, where Goff is in like a potential high scoring game. But there's a 23-point implied total still for Washington. I think Mariota is definitely in play.
Yeah. I'm a big Mariota fan. I used to call Mariota. He's a Tennessee guy, Titans guy. He was so nice. You just wanted, you want him to do well. And so I want him to do well in spot starts. He has done well in spot starts. He can't be the guy, I don't think. All right. You know what this one is, JJ? The Blue Box Blues?
I don't.
I am really, really shocked by this.
Is this have to do with the blue tent?
No. Because you love a good jingle.
Yeah. I don't know.
Blue Box Blues.
Is that local?
No. If mama wants to please me, she's only got to cheese me.
Oh,
I've got the blues. Okay. You know what that is now?
I think
Kraft.
Yeah.
Macaroni and cheese.
Now
the
I got
Blue
it.
Box Blues.
Okay. I figured it was a Tucker Kraft thing because it was a green and yellow headline. Yeah. So that was a big, I'm just going to put panic in all caps because it was such a panic whenever it happened.
That was a big panic moment right there.
Like if there's one, he is one of the handful of players that I think people are associating with me this year. And if Tucker Kraft is out, then that's bad for the brand. It's bad for business, right? So I don't want Tucker Kraft to be out. I think he's in store for a really good season. So the weird thing is that they're giving us the range of time missed, and it's crazy. Like at first it was like, it doesn't sound season ending. And it's like, okay, well, that's not really encouraging. Like if you're talking about season, no one really went there, but you just went there. So now we're thinking about it season ending. And then Matt LaFleur was like, yeah, I don't like today. He said, I don't think he's going to go on IR. It's like, oh, I didn't even know that it was a possibility that he was going to go on IR. So yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit concerned. I don't think he's going to go this weekend just based on the information we have right now. He didn't practice today. Luke Musgrave is kind of a streamer, like a tight end too. I mean, any tight end too is literally like, can he find the end zone? So, it's unfortunate. Can't start him this week. There's not like a ton of obvious go-to tight ends just in general, but yeah, it's a unfortunate situation.
No Reed, no Tucker Kraft. And we had Tucker Kraft as a tight end 4 in your latest rankings.
Yeah.
But does that make you okay with you think this might be Golden's breakout week?
I'm hoping. A lot of the secondary numbers for Matthew Golden, aside from like his usage, but like, I mean, target share usage. I mean, if you look at some of the fancy metrics that people look at, like separation scores and stuff, he looks really good. And so I'm intrigued by that. I said on the show, I don't know how people can say that they're going to drop Golden right now. It's like he's finally getting this opportunity, guys. Like Jaden Reed's out. You don't want to drop him right now. So yeah, hopefully we get some from Matthew Golden this week. I have to start him in the Kings Classic League because it's such a deep starting lineup.
It's a 14-team league, right? The Kings Classic.
14-teamer. You start a quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, 3 flex, and a tight end. So
who won last year?
In the snake draft, I believe that was JJ Zachariason who won last year.
Oh, yeah. Who's number 1 in points this year?
Number 1 in points scored is JJ Zachariason.
Oh my gosh!
Yes.
Can we say dynasty? Tell all those fantasy analysts.
All thanks to Javonte Williams.
That's right. I really think I love how he. No lie, I love how he fits this build. Was the message you sent?
I literally sent a text message as I'm drafting because Kitchen was in the room, so everyone knows. As I'm drafting, I sent Kitchen a message. I go, I think I'm gonna draft Javonte Williams because he really fits his build.
You said I low key love Javonte, and at this point, Javonte was like more of a punchline than a fantasy asset.
That's right. Yeah, and then I ended up writing him, I think, as a player to avoid in the draft guide because I got pushed into a corner.
You got blued.
Yeah, I mean, I got a little blue pilled towards the towards the end. Didn't get enough Javonte in my DraftKings, drafts and best ball drafts this summer, which is unfortunate. But got Javonte in a league that I really, really, really want to win, and that's important.
I should have gotten blue pilled instead of gotten blued. That was
blue pilled was an easier one. But like Javonte to me was like, it was just really hard for me to get behind like a running back 34 or whatever price. And like in that draft, when I took him and I talked about this on the mailbag, so I'm definitely repeating myself, but in that draft, like he fell a lot and no one wanted him. And I'm like, why would I not take him right now? This seems insane. I got him probably at like RB 42 or 3 or something like that in that draft.
Yeah. I was always high on Javonte just because of what Rico did last year. It's like someone's got to do something there, you know?
Yeah, I just, there were like for Javonte, it could have gone a lot of different directions this year. But yeah, in hindsight, I think that it's very obvious that, it's sometimes okay to take the boring pick.
The non-sexy pick. All right. Xavier Worthy of our lineups this week. Xavier Worthy, he's been practicing. Apparently, he's doesn't have any restrictions. Are you buying this? Are you comfortable enough to put him in your lineup, basically?
I'm saying a little nervous still. I think he's like a wide receiver, high-end wide receiver, like 4 when you look at the whole landscape this week. So, like outside the top 36 or so, just to be safe. Like, we just don't know what this workload's going to look like. I also like want him to play a lot in the slot because that role has been really good for these pass catchers in this offense. Rashee Rice obviously has thrived there. Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown has played that role a little bit to start the year, especially week 1, week 2, he didn't play as much there. And so if Worthy were to play a little bit more in the slot, that'd be helpful for his fantasy output. But I don't know if they want to like put him in harm's way like that. Like that's the middle of the field, a lot of big hits and the potential for big hits. I just don't know. So I think that you should be a little bit nervous slotting him in your lineup. I don't know if Kansas City is going to face a really positive, like passing script. They'll see a positive game script more than likely, but like a passing script, I just don't know if we'll see that. But then at the same time, I mean, that running game has been not good to start the year.
They thought I saw a tweet. They thought Isaiah Pacheco would be the guy. He has not been.
Yeah.
Yikes. All right. No pushy, no tushy. Not sure if you saw this, JJ, but Shefty says that they are instructing the officiating crew to call the tush push much tighter this week.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's good. Like I've been pretty okay with the tush push.
Yeah.
From an opinion standpoint, like it's part of the game, whatever. They're not, but if they're breaking rules, they're breaking rules. If it's not getting called super tight, it should be called tight. And man, I got to tell you, last week was horrifically boring because of the tush push. Like, it's just not an entertaining thing to watch.
It's better for fantasy if the tush push is not a thing.
Yeah, I mean, I want them to like do fun things on 4th and short, and not just line up that way.
I got a little emotional because I'm like you. I haven't been upset really at all about it, just from a game standpoint. But when I saw the pictures of the guys like clearly offsides before the ball's even snapped, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
What are we doing here? Because every time they get like a 3rd and 1 or a 4th and 1, you just know that there's going to be 2 extra minutes like bled off the clock.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
sucks as fantasy analyst. All
Yeah,
right.
it's not fun.
Aaron Jones to IR and Mason, he might be moonbound, JJ.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this about Jordan Mason. I'll just repeat what I said in the mailbag. The schedule looks good. They get the AFC North, the non-Ravens AFC North teams over the next 3 weeks. You know, like I said on the show, I think he's kind of a buy if you want to think of it that way, just because my biggest question mark with him was obviously the pass catching with Aaron Jones. Now that Aaron Jones is out of the way, they don't have reliability, you know, in that backfield. So I think that there could just be some default, like easy, like he's not going to do crazy things as a pass catcher, but just some easy dump offs and, you know, some, you know, like 3 or 4 catches is very possible, despite the fact that he's never been that guy throughout his career. I think it is possible in this system, you know, with Carson Wentz. It's a really good matchup this week in Cincinnati. I may or may not be talking about him again later in the show too.
Okay, we've got Ladd McConkey with a biceps injury, but he was a full practice participant. But are you at all worried yet about Ladd McConkey?
How does a wide receiver get a biceps injury like this?
Don't ask me.
Yeah. I'm not like massively concerned. Like I said on the 10 Trends episode earlier this week, the Chargers have a really crazy. They've been 82% wide receiver target share right now.
Yeah.
That's going to regress, and they've been really pass heavy.
Very pass heavy.
That's going to regress, right? Like they're not going to finish the season more than likely with an 82% wide receiver target share. So right now, like what we're looking at is, you know, Quentin Johnson basically seeing about as many targets as Ladd McConkey, and then Keenan Allen has been getting peppered with targets, right? I think Keenan Allen is going to still see a lot of look. Like I liked Keenan Allen entering the year. So like, I'm going to stick with my priors to it because it's only been confirmed. Right. And so I think Keenan Allen is still going to see a good target share. Not as high as it's been, but the one player that you think would not be as affected by that regression would be Ladd McConkey because he's the best wide receiver on that team. So relax a little bit. There's going to be some regression for QJ. He's not going to maintain this all season long, even with Keenan Allen. You know, the injury's not great, but I'm not like full blown panicking with McConkey. Do I think McConkey is going to give us a great ceiling this year? No. Do I think that he's going to be like a massive end of round 2, early round 3 bust? Probably not there either. You know, it was a dead spot in the draft. I think that in hindsight, you know, people should have been taking JSN over him, but you know, that's the same thing. Like there's gonna be 1 or 2 guys that you're like, oh, I should have done that. It's going to happen, you know? So I think it's fine overall with McConkey.
Okay. Pretty nice game time decision. I wasn't even expecting this, but 2nd day in a row, he's practicing.
Yeah. I'm saying how. I'm just saying how, again, for Brock Purdy, they said that he was going to be out potentially 5 weeks. And a lot of people were saying that like, this is not a great injury. You know, like it's very possible that he misses that amount of time. You know, Mac Jones looked good last week. I think he can work in the system enough, but if Purdy plays, you know, I do worry a little bit about what the mobility upside looks like coming off of this kind of injury. And that's really what has separated Purdy a little bit more over the last year is that he's running a little bit more. But I think in this matchup, like Arizona's secondary is really beat up. And so, if he does play, I think that he would be a viable option.
Yeah, there are some. I mean, we need more quarterbacks to play this week.
Yeah.
Do you know, like, can you name all the backups playing this week?
Carson Wentz, Jake Browning.
Yep.
Marcus Mariota.
Yep.
Is there another one?
Yep.
Who am I missing? Oh, Tyrod Taylor.
There you go.
Yeah. It's
so,
crazy.
And then if Mac Jones plays instead of Purdy, they'd be, I guess, 5. And then you also got guys like Spencer Rattler, you know?
Right, and like Joe Flacco.
So,
yeah,
right. All right. Another Texans wide receiver.
Tagovailoa, you know. Too soon?
No. Tua, bless his heart.
Yeah.
Although Tyreek did not help him out.
Can we talk about this just for a second?
Yeah.
It's really wild to me that everyone, like, I didn't think Tua looked good last night, okay?
Right.
But it's really wild to me that there are so many people like yelling for Tua to be benched or for Zach Wilson to get a shot or whatever. It's like we completely forgot how unbelievably terrible the Dolphins offense was last year without Tua. When Tua came back, they actually averaged, from a touchdowns per game standpoint, like a top 10 number in the league, fringe top 10, when Tua was under center. And then when he's not under center, they were the worst offense that I've ever seen in my entire life. So, like, I don't know, give him a little bit of grace.
Yeah.
I'm saying
I mean, he's obviously like spooked a little bit, I think, also just naturally as one would be when you got, that pass rush against you. But I thought like that 60-yard bomb to Tyreek where Tyreek went alligator arms.
Yeah.
That's a catch that Tyreek should have. And those other guys like knock each other out. So it's like, he catches that, he walks the end zone. We're having a completely different conversation today.
Yeah.
It's just the fact that, like, I think in the first half he had 66 yards passing, but they were doing decent. The offense was moving along fine. It was just that, like Kyle said, that INT is inexcusable.
It was a really bad throw. Really bad throw.
That punt penalty sucked bad because I was like, let's get some overtime. Let's get more points.
Yeah.
All right. You got Christian Kirk who's coming back this week. You think that affects the offense at all? Because really there's not been a lot of passing yardage.
How about this reaction to your little news headline? Yeah. No L, right? For Jalen Noel.
Oh,
right. Because now Jalen Noel is like, he showed up last week on special teams in that game. He's looked like a pretty like dynamic player that you think would maybe be able to get on the field more and more. Now that Christian Kirk is back, Jalen Noel probably won't be able to see the slot, which is his natural position. And we're not going to see much of him, which is unfortunate because I want to see more Jalen Noel. But Christian Kirk, I think, is still a really, really good slot player. And they need something like that in this offense right now as an easy outlet for CJ Stroud because he is under duress pretty consistently.
Okay. Sharbs, I don't know if he's going to be, if he's going to miss another practice today. We're not sure yet. He did miss yesterday. I also saw where they said basically Seattle's got 2 starting running backs. Like there's not that much of a difference between Sharbs and Kenneth Walker. But what's your thoughts on Sharb missing so Walker can run?
I mean, my overall thought is that Kenneth Walker is better than Zach Charbonnet when they're in a committee because Kenneth Walker, this is what I talked about on 10 Trends. Kenneth Walker can be more efficient and have those spiked plays that can give you the spiked weeks. And you're going to just have to take the valleys with those peaks with Kenneth Walker this year, it seems like. But I would much rather have Walker than Charbonnet.
Yeah. Walker said like he welcomed Charbonnet so he wouldn't have to be the bell cow. Do you see that quote this week?
No. I mean, I think a lot of running backs would probably feel that way.
Yeah, like they don't want to get beat up and they welcome somebody there as long as it's like not really threatening their job.
Mm-hmm.
I get it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like why you brought me on board.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm not going to threaten your job, but I'm going to take some of the carries that you don't want.
That's right.
That's what I'm here for. Okay, I think that's it. Let's get on to today's data.
Today's data.
All right, so I give put a data dump together for like a spreadsheet together for patrons every week, and this is one of the pages, one of the sheets that's in that spreadsheet that I produced, and it gives you every team, their passing touchdowns, their rushing touchdowns, their passing touchdown rate. So what percentage of those touchdowns have come through the air, their rank within that. And then it gives you expected passing touchdown rate. This is a really basic formula where I take the pass rate of a certain team or of all the teams, and it gives you what you would expect their passing touchdown rate to be based on that overall pass rate. So a team that's more pass heavy would obviously have a higher expected passing touchdown rate because when you're pass heavy, more of your touchdowns generally come through the air. Now, obviously, it's not going to always happen, but you can see here, like it's really early in the season, and this is why I want to call it out because, you can really drive home some narratives right now about certain players and such and say, this guy's really good, or this is someone that we should avoid based on 2 games. It's really early to do that kind of stuff like that definitively. And you can see, like, for instance, Dallas right now, Dallas has 2 passing touchdowns to 4 rushing touchdowns, but based on their pass rate, their pass that so that's a 33% passing touchdown rate, right? So 33% of their touchdowns have come through the air. But based on their pass rate, it should be like 72%. And that's a difference of like 39 percentage points, which means moving forward, we shouldn't expect Javonte Williams to score as many touchdowns, and we should expect more touchdowns to come through the air. Another example of that is with Philadelphia, obviously, because they haven't thrown a passing touchdown yet after 2 games. And then on the reverse side, you can look at San Francisco. The 49ers don't have a single rushing touchdown yet when they should. So it's 100%, their pass rush touchdown ratio in rate. But they should be at like 62, 63% based on their pass rate. That's a 38 or 37 to 38% difference. So this is just something that you can get in the late round fantasy football Patreon within that spreadsheet, within that data dump every week. I think it's interesting to kind of look at and just see where regression might be hitting. Those are the teams to call out right now. There's some other ones, like the Chargers haven't had a rushing touchdown yet. Like that's going to regress, you know.
Titans.
The Titans only have 1 touchdown. So so that's the problem with that.
They played against a couple of good defenses.
the Titans are the worst team in total touchdowns. They have 1 touchdown right now. There are some the other teams with 2 include the Raiders, Texans. Those are the only 2. So
you know what was crazy is that stat you gave. Maybe the trends where the Titans have only thrown like 1 pass to a running back.
Oh, they have
2 games.
2 running back targets through 2 weeks.
That is crazy.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
When they've lost both games.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. It's pretty insane. It's a little bit worrisome too, because those kinds of things, like when you see it that dramatically and there's a new quarterback and stuff, you have to think that it might be a quarterback tendency thing. And that's a little bit scary for a guy like Pollard and then Tajay Spears when he returns.
Yeah. I've seen a lot though. Also, they're talking about like just the play calling, and they're just like sending guys down the field. They need to help Ward out more, but I'm just going to call it right now. Titans shock the world this week. Colts come back to earth.
I mean, the Colts are playing outside for the first
on the road in this heat, in this Tennessee heat.
Yeah.
JJ with the fresh haircut.
This is what Index of Suspicion is saying. Yeah. I have a fresh haircut, like I'm about to order 2 Heinekens and a Jaeger bomb.
I got a haircut yesterday.
What is that? What are you saying? I got a bro haircut? Yeah, I get faded up, guys. I go to a barber in my downtown area and I get faded up, and it's a great time. If you guys need a recommendation in my area, yeah.
I think you might. Did you ever see that video back in the day? It's like Jaeger bomb, got a fresh haircut. Like it's like a old school.
Oh, so is that what it's referencing?
YouTube video.
I don't remember that.
Jaeger bomb. All right. Bada Bing says, looks good. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Let's. Do you have anything more for today's data?
That's it.
Okay.
The late round main event.
We are on to the main event. As always, I'll give you some players that I like more than consensus this week. We'll talk some bold predictions, which I have 3 of them for week 3. That's not like a trend. I'm not going to do 4 for week 4 and 5 for week 5. That's not a thing that I'm going to be doing. There was just one that I had to throw in there. And then I do a look ahead waiver wire. Let's look at quarterback first. I know I just took over hosting, didn't I?
JJ, I'm going to look at quarterback first. I like Caleb Williams this week.
Oh, so now you're going to be me. Okay.
No, he did be not want that. Yeah.
I'm going to go Caleb Williams this week as my quarterback that I'm higher on versus consensus. I have my QB8, consensus QB10. I could even have him higher, I think. Shootout potential in this game against Dallas. Dallas right now, it's early, but they're the second best matchup by adjusted points allowed to quarterbacks. They've allowed 83.3 more passing yards to be thrown on them versus expected. And that expected is just based on the fact that they played Philadelphia and then they played the Giants. And it looks at and calculates how those teams played against their other opponents versus how they played against Dallas. Now, obviously, that's skewed because the Giants went nuts on them this past week. So obviously that's why the number looks the way that it does. But that also should give you confidence about how big of a game Caleb Williams might be able to have. He has 11 rush attempts in 2 games. That first week, he had a good scramble rate. Last week, it was still a decent enough scramble rate, but it was, brought down to earth a little bit. I just like this game a lot. I think that this could be the highest scoring game of this week's slate. And so I'm going to lean on Caleb Williams.
Yeah, we hope that it's going to be a good game, and with Caleb Williams, you've got another bear.
I do. I think that I'm like 6 spots higher with DeAndre Swift versus consensus. Consensus like RB 30-ish. I'm at RB 24. Dallas has been a little bit better against the run than the pass, but they've still been pretty bad against the run. Swift did see his backfield share numbers kind of dip last week and get a little bit worse. But there was a weird game script against that Detroit team that put up a 50 burger, as we've talked about. And so I still think DeAndre Swift is going to be their primary guy back there. And maybe they use Kyle Monangai a little bit more. I don't know if Roshan is back yet or practicing or there hasn't been many. I mean, is there one player on this earth that has gotten less coverage this summer and into the season than Roshan Johnson? It's like he's a forgotten player.
I'm not even going to get hopes up because like Jalen Wright was supposed to be back. I was like, oh, maybe he will do something.
No.
And he did not do anything.
Yeah.
He did like the opposite.
No, I'm just saying like I do think that given the fact that I don't think Monangai is like a massively effective player or is going to be, I do think that there's at least an opportunity for Roshan to maybe eventually, get some work. But this game, if you look at week 1 with Chicago, Minnesota, that was a closer game than what we saw in week 2. And in that game, DeAndre Swift saw all of their running back rushes, almost a 70% route participation rate. I mean, his backfield share was awesome. I thought he looked good in that game too. So I think Swift is a really good play this week. Like I think he's a low end RB2, high end RB3. And, people don't like DeAndre Swift because of what he's done historically. But if he's the RB1 for Chicago in this game, and it's going to be, we're projecting it to be high scoring, then he should score some fantasy points.
Yeah, we just need this to be like close, high scoring and close. Just don't get blown out by 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, and we're good there. All right. Speaking of the team that blew them out, but then this guy didn't do anything. Jameson Williams.
He had a huge game
last week.
Yeah, he just didn't have a huge volume game.
He didn't have an Amon-Ra game.
No, he didn't have an Amon-Ra St. Brown game, but he still came through. He had a big touchdown.
He had like 1 touchdown. All right, now I have to go back and look at the game logs.
Yeah, he only had like a 14% target share, but he came through with a decent fantasy stat line because he was able to convert on a deep one. And
all right, you talk. I will look up his stat line.
This game, JMO against Baltimore, I'm 7 spots ahead of consensus with him. I could have gone Rome Odunze here too because I'm really high in Odunze versus consensus this week. I don't think consensus has caught up to how good Odunze started the season, and it's very clear to me that he's the wide receiver 1, which is going to help my bold prediction that I had in the bold prediction show from newsletter / show from the beginning of the season. What are you going to say about JMO?
No, you're correct. He did have a big game last week. He had 108 yards receiving and a touchdown.
Right.
That came off of 2 passes.
Right. Well, he had a 14% target share. Yeah.
So he had a 64-yarder and then a 44-yarder.
Yeah. So they used him in a big play, capacity. Right. And they clearly last week, the game plan was we have a mismatch with Amon-Ra St. Brown. We're going to exploit it. But with this game against Baltimore, you have more passing potential because Detroit's an underdog, a decent underdog in this game in Baltimore. He's had a 100% route participation rate this year. I think that if you just match the route participation with the target share, that target share should increase for Jameson Williams. So I'm still pretty optimistic about JMO. It was good to see the offense get rolling a little bit yesterday. I don't think that this matchup is like, immensely scary just because there's a back and forth nature to this game that's possible. And so that's why I like Jameson Williams, more than consensus does this week, or at least that's why I'm guessing. I think that the consensus is looking at his target share and saying that's what it's going to be from here on out, but I don't think it has to be that way.
Consensus is doing what I was doing just now.
Yeah. They're making the assumption that he had a horrible game. He came through. Yeah. He was fine. He's 1 for 2 this year.
That's right. All right. You got it's at tight end.
Yeah, Kyle Pitts at tight end. I mean, look, this is arguably the best matchup on paper. Carolina's already not been good against tight ends to start the year. They were worst against the position last year. Kyle Pitts has seen target shares of 19% and 24% over his first 2 games. He's had a 96%. He had a 96% route share last week. I have him at tight end 11, consensus tight end 14. I think Pitts is a very, very good play. I could even see him moving up a little bit if I, move things around, because I do move things around after, like recalculating some projections and just kind of thinking about things more, with the week slate. Like there's a possibility he even moves up a little bit.
Okay. I've got, it's who I traded Gretsch for in the stacked league.
What was that trade?
So I traded Hollywood Brown because I had Dallas Goedert and he was hurt. So, and I couldn't drop anybody because my team was so deep with running backs and receivers. So I traded him Hollywood Brown for Kyle Pitts, ended up getting the win. But he took out Wan'Dale Robinson to start Hollywood Brown last week. It cost him the win.
And it was the right move. It was the right process move.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. We go bold predictions for week 3. You can't go 500 on here, so let's try to go for 2 for 3.
All right. The first one, Nico Collins, I think has his nuclear game. Like I think he goes
on board with this.
I think he goes nuts this week. All right. So far, the Texans have faced the Rams and the Buccaneers. Both of those teams right now, they're top 8 in pressure rate. And I know that those numbers include their games against Houston, but they were also good at getting the quarterback in the other games as well. Like they can generate pressure. The Rams can generate pressure, and the Bucs have done a good job this year. They actually had more pressures against Atlanta than they did against Houston this past week. So that's the big fear with the Houston Texans and the in the offense is the offensive line is that it's just not very good. And so if they can get a little bit more protection for CJ Stroud, you're able to develop some of those down the field looks. Nico Collins last week still had a 39% target share. I know Christian Kirk is back, but that might also open things up a little bit for Nico to have a couple of big plays. Jacksonville's not a tough matchup on paper. I think this could be the week that Nico Collins like really, really bounces back.
I'm here for it. And if you look last week, we were talking a little bit before the show. Maybe we were talking this morning. He almost had a few like good. They're just like a little off. He had 9 targets, just couldn't connect last week.
Yeah,
easier opponent.
I thought Stroud didn't play very well last week either.
Right,
so that plays a role.
Again, we've talked about that offensive line too. They just have to get their stuff together as well, where he's not seeing ghost out there. All right, you got Jordan Mason as a top 6 running back.
Yeah, so Jordan Mason. Look, I talked about this earlier. I talked about this on the mailbag. I have genuine questions about how good of a pass catcher he is. With that being said, I then talked about it on Perspectives with Andy Behrens. And I mentioned the idea that I've always talked about where I talk about things. I don't know if you guys realize this or not. I talk about a lot of things when it comes to football.
What?
Yeah. But it's this idea that like how much of a negative is like, I don't think he's Tank Bigsby bad as a pass catcher. I don't think that he's Brian Robinson bad as a pass catcher. I don't know. I should say we don't know for sure because he played with Jahmyr Gibbs in college. You could make the argument very easily that he only had like a 3% target share last year in San Francisco. And why was that the case? Because Isaac Guerrero stepped in and he had a better target share than Jordan Mason did. So I think there's like reason to be like cautious and concerned here. With that being said, he had a 14% target share last week, the highest of his career, only second time that he's been over a 10% share. And this offense might need that outlet for Carson Wentz, and they get a really great matchup against Cincinnati. So the bold prediction here is that Jordan Mason is a top 6 running back this week, even in PPR formats. And the question I'm asking is, we've seen other quarterbacks perform well in this Kevin O'Connell system. What if Carson Wentz is okay?
Yeah.
What if he's fine?
What if this is a shootout between Carson Wentz and Jake Browning?
I don't think that's going to happen, but maybe it happens.
I'm already going to pencil you in for one of your quad box games to be Cincinnati and Minnesota.
Oh boy. We don't need that.
All right. You got a bonus one here, and we just talked about him. It's the GOAT, Marcus Mariota.
Yeah, I think Mariota could be a top 8 quarterback this week. Okay, so last year he entered 2 games for this Washington offense. This is with Cliff Kingsbury, obviously, as offensive coordinator, and he ran the ball a lot, right? So the first game he entered, it was against the Panthers, and it was pretty early on in that game. Now, he obviously didn't like get reps as a starter because Jaden Daniels got hurt, and like Carolina wasn't prepared for him, and Carolina's defense was putrid last year, and it's bad this year too. But in that game, he ended up running the ball 11 times. He had 34 yards in the ground. Some of those were kneels at the end of the game, but he was effective. He had like 205 yards through the air, a couple touchdowns. And then later in the season, last game of the year, if I remember correctly, it was for precautionary reasons that they took Jaden Daniels out of the game because, they were about to go into the playoffs. They didn't need to win that game. And Marcus Mariota came in like during the second half of that game, and he was a beast on the ground. So in like a game and a half, Mariota had 16 rush attempts for 90 yards and a rushing touchdown. So I think that we know that he can run the ball. So there's juice there. I think this offense is just decent for a backup quarterback to step in because there's some really easy reads in this offense and some stuff, like I always talk about, like Cliff Kingsbury likes to work horizontally and stuff, give you those easy, like to Debo and hopefully McLaurin can get going a little bit more. I do worry a little bit about not having an obvious pass catching back, with Austin Eckler out, but they still have a 23-point implied total. I have Mariota ranked, like I said, at like QB 15 or something this week. But I think that he could be a top 8 quarterback. So that's going to be a bold prediction for me this week.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at so they had when he came and played against Carolina, started against Carolina, 18 for 23, 205 yards passing, 2 passing touchdowns, and 34 yards rushing. They won 40-7. Yeah. I think the week 18 game is when they played against Dallas.
Correct.
So that's why they kind of took out Jaden Daniels. They didn't want him to play. He two passing touchdowns, 56 yards rushing, and a rushing touchdown.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
Very possible that he gives us a very usable performance this week. And it's against a defense that we're not that scared of.
Yeah. It's just nice when so many people are looking for quarterbacks that he is an option this week.
Yeah.
So if you haven't already considered him, maybe you should do so. All right, let's get to the look ahead waiver wire. And you've got a familiar name on here from the offseason, the preseason, Brashard Smith.
Yeah, look, I think that there's a possibility that the Chiefs run game, like if they can't get it going against the Giants this week, that's going to be a problem because the Giants haven't been that great against the run to start the year. And, there could be a positive game script. So they're going to need them to get going a little bit. Brashard Smith to me could be like a Jerick McKinnon in this offense. Now he doesn't have that much experience as a pure running back, but he's a converted wide receiver. When he played running back last year, he put up really good numbers. He's explosive. He's a type of player that they don't have right now in that offense when they need that explosion. They need that athleticism. And so I'm intrigued by Brashard Smith as a pickup right now before they unleash him a little bit. Because if they unleash him even like to a 30% snap share or something, and they give him, 3 or 4 targets this week, not to say that's going to happen, but that's enough for people to jump on the waiver wire and want to get Brashard Smith. And so I'd rather be ahead. I've been adding him in leagues right now, just to get ahead of the game a little bit. And if it doesn't come to fruition, it doesn't come to fruition. It's fine. I'm just saying, I think that this is a very logical move to make because Isaiah Pacheco and Kareem Hunt are not getting it done.
3.6 yards per carry for both of them. ESPN NFL insider Dan Graziano said, I'll just read what he said. Don't be surprised if at some point soon rookie Brashard Smith gets a shot.
There we go.
They view him as a different kind of back from those two, more of a receiver type who can make explosive plays in space. Once they trust the rookie to handle all the running back responsibilities, he could be a factor in their offense.
We talked about this a little bit, I think, on the Tuesday show, on the waiver wire show for patrons, where I brought up Brashard Smith there too, because, whenever you have
someone asked for a look ahead waiver wire is what it was.
Yeah, right. Because
you said Brashard Smith. Yeah.
Yeah. But like the thing is that like I'm always intrigued by players who in backfields who just do something different than what they already have. And if what they already have is not working. So like this is the difference between what's going on in Dallas versus what's going on in Kansas City. Javonte Williams is performing. He's giving production. They've been fine, right? Like I do think that Jaden Blue is a lot different than Javonte Williams, but the difference is that Pacheco and Kareem Hunt have not been good. Like Kareem Hunt looks like he's running in mud. Isaiah Pacheco is not decisive.
Yeah.
And they need something that is dynamic back there. And that player might be Brashard Smith.
I will say if there's a week for Pacheco to get right, it'd be this week.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, I don't even mind Pacheco as like a, RB3 type this week, like a high-end RB3. I'm just saying we got to look at all the range of outcomes here. And you got to ask the question, what if Pacheco does not perform very well this week? Or what if they want to change things around and get that dynamic ability back there, then that's going to be Brashard Smith.
As someone who picked up Ray Davis as a potential waiver wire guy before last night, I'm really wishing it was Brashard Smith.
Yeah, at this point, yeah. Well, if you're on Yahoo, you can drop guys that are on your bench in a lot of leagues.
Really?
Yeah. If you're playing on Yahoo.
Do you like that?
No, I don't.
No, I don't either.
I like when players lock because you got to have conviction.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of conviction, this guy we had a lot of conviction about
as a prospect. As a prospect. Yeah.
As a prospect.
We knew that Luther Burden would get off to a slow start. They like Olamide Zaccheaus. This is just a call out of watch his snap share. Maybe it increases a little bit more. This is sort of like, with like Isaac Tesla last week that we had talked about. We saw Isaac Tesla's snap share improve a little bit more. Then he made another, like crazy catch. Like let's just see if Burden gets more of gets more work this week because they need to change something within that team, mostly on defense, in my opinion, but still, Burden might see more work.
All right. I almost have put this guy in the news section, but Isaiah is likely to play this week.
Yeah, I don't know why Isaiah Likely is still out there in so many leagues. Like even in leagues that I'm in, where I'm playing with like other analysts and stuff,
people have forgotten about him.
Yeah, people.
It's all about Zay Jones. I mean, it's they just
They don't Mark Andrews is not playing well right now. There's plenty of target share up for grabs in that offense because Zay Flowers is not going to maintain a 40% target share this year. So I'm kind of intrigued by Isaiah Likely. I've been adding him in a lot of spots. I think he should be added before this week because if he goes, then everyone's going to have him on their radar.
Okay. Next one, you almost had this as a 15 transactions.
Yep, I did.
Jalen Coker.
If you want to just get ahead of Xavier Legette not being a very good player and or at least a start worthy player. Coker could be back in week 5, so you're just getting ahead of things with him being on IR if he is out there in your league.
All right, is this a day late and dollar short, Ollie Gordon?
Well, I put Ollie Gordon on there like I did with the Thursday night guys last week with the Washington running back.
And you asked me, you said, "Is this cheating?" And I said, "No, I don't think it's cheating."
Yeah, so I don't think Ollie
look
Gordon
ahead to next week's waiver wire.
I haven't looked at the backfield shares yet from last night. Just been busy this morning, but I do think that he's passed the eye test. Like I think Ollie Gordon looks good in that like short yardage, bigger bodied role. And then there's the upside of injury to Devon Achane too. And I liked Gordon as a prospect. So I think he makes a lot of sense as someone to add this week.
Okay. Achane played 73% of snaps.
Yeah.
And ran 80% of the routes, 27% of the targets. Gordon, 24% of the snaps, 38 of the rushing attempts, only 6% of routes.
Yeah, so I think that's roster worthy when you're considering he's probably the goal line guy. He's a rookie.
Yeah. And if something happened to Achane, then he could just go nuclear.
Yeah.
He looked so good last night.
Yeah.
All right, this is the defense. You got the Pats, and they're playing Carolina next week.
Yeah, they're at home against Carolina next week. That's all you need to know. New England's now Christian Gonzalez. I was bringing him up a lot on the sleeper show because if he's out, I think he's going to play because he's been practicing all week. But if he's out, Aaron Rodgers becomes relevant and stuff. But I think that he's a huge piece to that defense and that secondary. So
yes.
Him being back, I think could change the dynamic of that defense. And then playing Carolina next week is a really good matchup for defensive streaming purposes.
Yeah, I'm actually a Pats defense fan this year.
I mean, they've been horrible to start the year.
They kind of, yes.
What do you mean kind of? They've been really bad to start the year.
Oh, let me finish. Don't panic. Harold Landry has not been horrible. He's been really good. He was the edge rusher from the Titans. So
Sure.
We got to know their family here. He actually has more sacks than the Titans do through 2 games. Just he. He's got 3.5
little homerism.
He has 3.5 sacks. So there you go, putting pressure on him. Okay. All right. That's it for the main event. Are you ready to wrap this up, JJ?
Let's do it.
All right, we've got the quad box. These are the 4 games we're looking forward to watching. I'm going to let you go first, JJ, because I already know from what we've talked about what your game's going to be.
Cowboys Bears
Yeah,
as my top one. I got to I'm really like, I think there's a lot of fantasy potential in this game and a lot of fantasy players that we look at you just randomly capitalizing.
No,
words.
what? Does that bother you?
No, I think it adds character.
It does bother me.
No, I really am interested in watching the Cowboys Bears game, not just because I think there'd be a lot of scoring, but I have a lot of Cowboys and Bears in my fantasy teams this year.
Yes. All right. Cowboys and Bears, one of the top. The Lions and Ravens are the only game that are projected to score more points, and those two aren't even close to the rest of the games. So, okay, looking at these games, man, some of them are going to be pretty brutal. So I'm going to go with one that I'm interested in, and that is this Chiefs Giants game.
Chiefs Giants?
Yeah.
No one is interested in the Chiefs Giants game.
But what if?
What if
it is like we didn't think last week was going to be that good of a fantasy game. And look what Malik Neighbors did. I want the whole Russ Wilson, Malik Neighbors thing to be a thing, and I want like a high scoring game.
There was a report today saying that Jackson Dart could start next week.
Yeah, so that's even more reason.
Yeah,
but let's
just go with the guy that might be benched. Yeah, what an intriguing game.
No. Did you like the Cowboys and Giants game last week? Yes or no?
No, but that doesn't mean it's going to repeat.
It could, though. That's what I'm saying. It could.
You just took that game over Lions Ravens.
Yeah, Lions Ravens was the easy one.
Okay, well, put Lions Ravens up there because that's part of our quad box. I cannot believe that I'm going to be sitting at this quad box watching these games, and it's going to be Chiefs Giants.
I've got a bunch of neighbors, though. I've got a lot of Xavier Worthy. I want this Chiefs offense. I want them to figure it out. So that's why. We're
putting Lions Ravens next.
Okay, I'll put Lions and Ravens for mine, and then you got to come up with another game that you're looking forward to.
It's a bad slate.
Yeah,
I think that there's intrigue with the backup quarterback bowl with the Vikings and Bengals, but I'm going to go Rams Eagles for the other one. Yeah,
that was the other one I was considering.
The Rams played them well in the playoffs last year. Maybe we see the Eagles passing attack do a little bit better this week and get a little bit more juice going.
Yeah.
After playing, so conservatively in week 1 and then having to play in Kansas City in week 2. But, evidently the Giants are going to be better than the Eagles were offensively last week.
Okay. Someone doesn't like island games and guys going off in island games. Do you remember a Sunday night football game where Mr. Odell Beckham just went nuclear, had the one-handed catch?
Yeah, we definitely should be choosing our quad box based on something that happened 11 years ago. Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Here's the thing with the quad box. I'm glad you picked Rams Eagles because that's the 1:00 game. We got 2 afternoon games with Cowboys and Bears, Lions and then Chiefs. No. When's the Lions and Ravens play?
That's Monday night. We got one from every single slate.
So we have it covered. This is perfect. This is perfect. You not liking island games.
I love island games. I just hate island games when they start at 10 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
So you're not going to watch the Giants and Chiefs game?
No, I'll watch that game because it's not going to start at 10:30 or 10 o'clock. I even watched the 10 o'clock game because I had to.
Kitchen wants to live a little, JJ. Thank you. We have one person that voted for the Rams and the Eagles. Another person. Thank you. Rams Eagles. Rams Eagles is the game that people are excited about. So we captured that.
Could be a pretty boring game, realistically. There's a possibility that it's not that back and forth.
Yeah, Chiefs Giants can be more exciting than Rams Eagles.
I don't know about that much.
Unlimited. That's all you need to know.
I would say that a game that would be more entertaining than Chiefs and Giants would be the Texans Jags.
Yeah, if you like drama. If you like soap operas.
Yeah, and I like fantasy football.
Yeah, I think the Titans and Colts would be the game.
Oh my gosh, get out of here.
People think that the Titans
stop tuning in because of your Titans homerism.
But this would be the week, though. You agree, right?
No, actually, I don't. I don't really want to watch a team that has one offensive touchdown through 2 weeks and has targeted their running backs twice.
Positive regression.
Oh my gosh.
Regression.
Titans offense has been horrible.
Did you like watching the Dolphins game last night?
Yeah, because they actually played well.
Exactly.
They played well in week 2 also.
What if the Titans play well?
The Titans haven't done anything.
I realize that, and that's why I'm saying, like, they're due for at least something. Give Cam Ward the keys and just let him drive this. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, what could go wrong?
All right. We've got the Late Round newsletter. Make sure you go to lateround.com to subscribe for that. Make sure that you are following us on Twitter, or X as they call it, Blue Sky, Late Round QB at David Kitchen X. We got the DraftKings sponsorship, and then we also have our Patreon. And I just want to say to the Patreon, to the Discord, it's been really fun. It's been really fun this week. And for the most part, they've been on their best behavior.
Yeah, it's been good. Everyone but Dave has been on their best behavior.
Dave, we got to talk about. And if you're subscribed to the newsletter, you will see something about the Discord in there. So, come hang out. It's a fun time. It's a good time. Make sure you're subscribing, liking, and commenting on this video. JJ, you have anything else before we get out of here?
No, I'm good. I'm excited for week 3.
Yeah, week 3. If you're listening to this, also make sure that you are listening, watching the perspectives with Andy Behrens, and then the mailbag episode today. And with that, JJ, I think we're done. So appreciate everyone for tuning in. Send us any feedback that you have. Let us know what games you are wanting. Let us know your thoughts on week 3, and we'll see you next time here on the Late Round Fantasy Football Show, sponsored by DraftKings.